Hello, my name is Joseph Oluwashami Oluwashimilare, and today I'm gonna be talking about Kenya. I'm gonna be talking about the country Kenya and also the unique rules that also governs Kenya, the unique unspoken rules that also governs Kenya. So for foreigners, it's really easy if you really want to communicate with people in Kenya because their main languages are Swahili and English. So if you're a foreigner and you're in Kenya, if you speak English, you are most likely good because every other Kenyan should be able to speak English, and it's also, except for Swahili, it is the next most populated, the most spoken or common English speaking in Kenya. But today, I'm gonna also be talking about the unique rules, the unique unspoken rules in Kenya. So Kenya is a country; they have a lot of cultures, and cultures have a lot of rules that also governs them. So I'm gonna be talking about two main ones. So, firstly, in Kenya, it is a sign of respect. As it is a sign of respect when you go to people's houses and you take off your shoes. It shows it shows that you really respect them as a person rather than just going there with just your shoes on. Americans don't really consider that as respect or anything. They just consider if their houses are clean or not. So in Kenya, if you go to people's houses or you're invited, if you want to show that you respect them a lot, you take off your shoes right in the front door to before you get in the house. And also another unique rule that I find quite fascinating is the you don't point hands at people in Kenya. Rather than pointing hands, they use hand gestures. So in Kenya, when you see someone, you if you, in Kenya, if you're trying to single out a person, you either call the person's name, talk to them, and then use hand gestures rather than pointing fingers because pointing fingers shows a sign of aggression and a sign of lack of home training and yeah, also rude. And it also really shows that maybe you want to fight with the person. So those are the things I got from the sources I got from ChatGPT. So according to ChatGPT, I got some good sources. I'm gonna read them out right now. So it is culturalatlas.org and commerceglobal.gov.org and also kenya.org. This sources I got from AI, and I learned that people in Kenya, when you point fingers at them, they want to fight, and you're literally saying, "Hey, I don't respect you as a person, and I'd rather just point fingers in you rather than just call your name and say hello." So if you don't want to point fingers and you want to show a sign of respect, a friendly way, you go up to them, you call their name. You don't even have to call their name. You just say hello, and that's acceptable in the Kenyan culture. And also, I also did a personal research. Um, volunteer KenyanVolunteers.org. I learned that in Kenya, if you want to greet, you say hello and handshakes, not the American way when people just go and just hug people and um, just going to hug people. In Kenya, going straight to hug people is disrespectful, and it's also frowned upon if you're showing signs of love in public. So they'd rather you do it inside rather than holding hands together in a romantic way in public. In American, this things are considered normal, but in Kenyan culture, it is considered disrespectful to the society, and not really. It's not really like a thing set on the law, but as a community, when you do that, it just shows kind of like you're not respecting their culture as a person, which is totally disrespectful to them, and it's also wrong if you, especially when you're in the Kenyan territory. And another thing I also found out too, the day-to-day interactions, rather than you pointing fingers, like I said earlier, you're allowed to point all five fingers rather than pointing one fingers. So pointing one finger sounds disrespectful and rude. But once you point out five fingers or just point out a hand and just point out a hand and just try to call them, it is also considered respectful and also a sign of hospitality in the Kenyan culture. So those are the things I learned from the Kenyan culture today. Thank you.